I use my cordless because I don't like to have the cord in the way. We'll be using 320 grit sandpaper for an orbital. I use frog tape, and to mask off over the top of that, I use just a plastic. All of this you can get from Lowe's, anywhere, any hardware store. Okay, this one is the Death Watch Jetpack Kit, which consists of the whole body in 4 pieces. Each piece has a tab that you can attach them together with. You can just slide into each slot, and then you'll be able to just fully attach. This is the top piece. This one is the bottom piece, has the same tabs, which slides together. And then on the top of each, or the top of this one, these little tabs will come with it. You can just slide them in, glue them in, and then that'll attach this piece to this piece, and then you'll have the whole fuselage for the jetpack. And then once sanded, before you put it on, you want to sand the base of it to where it's nice and smooth. But that's the whole body part, or body section for the fuselage. And this is a Chameleon file, which he does a lot of good files. This one is the top rocket, which we'll keep it this way, or we're going to put it in 2 pieces, 2 sections. This top piece, and then the bottom section. But this one is fairly simple on it. It has this little keyway. On here, you have on here, you have a keyway in the back. Whenever you have everything locked together, that keyway will lock in. And then you can just glue it down, and it'll set like this. The next 2 parts that go on the top are 2 side rockets, which they'll come in 2 pieces or 1 solid piece. And these you'll just take and glue them together if they're the 2 solid or the 2 separated pieces. Just glue them together. Make sure you sand before you glue, and then they just slide into the sides of the top. And that is the top of your rocket. All right, next in the kit is a left and a right thruster. These actually turn different directions when you go to install parts or install them. They turn different directions. The right turns to the right and locks in. Same with all the parts on it. They all turn to the right. That's how you tell the right side from the left side on it. And that's your right thruster. This little piece is a spacer, unless you want to make it to where it actually moves, and then you'll need a rod that'll go from this side to the other side, and it'll have threads on the end. And what you're going to do is you'll put a little ball bearing in here, and you set this down, and then when you turn it, it'll click, and it'll lock to the direction you want it to set. But we do not include that. So let's go on to the left side. And this is what I was talking about. It will not go in going to the right. So you have to go to the left. On each part. And that is your left. So the left goes to the left when you tighten it. The right goes to the right when you tighten. And it comes with the little spacer, which the spacer has the space for the ball bearing to set in. And all you need is 1 ball bearing if you do it that way. Next up on part, well, let's show you where they go. Inside of each one of these bottom pieces is this little piece right here. It's a little ledge. And your little ring will go down inside. your other piece will attach to that ring, or you can attach them both together before you put it in there. But with that setup that I was talking about, you could go like turn your rockets any direction you want it. And they are hollow, so you can put lights in there, you can put the little smoke blowers in there. Next portion, we have a cover strip that goes across the top, and that is this piece right here. It has a pop-in piece to where it pops right into the base, if I can get it to do it. There we go. Okay. And then if it's all lined up, it'll look better than that, but we're just doing this real quick. But this is your flat piece that goes straight across the center. It covers your seam lines. We also have these little keyways, or piano keys, or whatever you want to call them, which will set like this. Yep. Both sides. They are stepped to be able to set them on there. And those will butt up to this piece, which it'll set like this, but it'll be closer once everything is mounted, and you won't have any seam line setting there. Next little detail piece is a vent for the very bottom, which is this section right here, this little vent right here. And it also has keyways on both sides. And that's just to pop in here and lock down. Another little detail piece. And later, I will show you our paint scheme that we do on it, because this is the Death Watch, so it gets the blue and it'll have silver. This will be silver all the way across, and it'll be shiny silver. You do not weather this one. But inside of these pieces, if you can see the little detail right here, this little detail will be silver, and it'll be weathered along with these keys, which we call them piano keys. These will be weathered silver also. And then the rest of the fuselage will be blue, which will be the lagoon blue that we've been using on everything. And then the silver that we'll be using is Rub and Buff, which you can get it from Hobby Lobby, any hobby shop. And it's really simple to use. Just put you a little bit on a rag and just wipe it on. It's basically what it says, Rub and Buff. Also with the kit is a back piece, and Chameleon has done this to where it's really simple. Each one has a peg on each section, and what you're going to do when you do it is the other side has the holes. You just bring it over and it latches down. Chameleon's the only one I've seen do this, but it latches down and locks together. But you'll sand and glue this so it has more strength and sticks together and locks. But this whole section, this is the top piece. On the back, you will have this section. Don't mind the trees inside from the printing. But this whole section, once done, will set inside of the grooves, and it'll lock together, and then this will be your whole back plate. These two sections right here are for your strapping, and your strapping is what's going to hold it on your back, and we'll do that tutorial later. But this is what you got for right now. And there is a lot of sanding, just like everything else. Sand, sand, sand. You want to clean up the lines as much as you can. And what I was speaking about is the dimples that we did earlier with the other pieces of the Death Watch. From the printing, the dimples end up on here. And you can sand those off either way with the palm sander, or you can hand sand. I use palm sander because it's quicker, and I don't go heavy with it. I don't press down, I just feather it, which is a lot lighter, and it'll pull it off a lot quicker and smoother. And then the trees that I'm talking about are these little pieces here, and they just pop out. That is the whole jetpack package. It will come raw unless you want it fully done. It takes a little bit of time to fully do one paint wise, but if done the other way that we're going to end up doing them, we will do automotive paint, which will be harder and a lot thicker, and if you drop it, it won't scratch as easy. But for right now, just as a pop together piece for basically a wall hanger, we're going to use the Krylon satin, I believe it's Lagoon Blue, and that's what we have used on all of the other parts for the Death Watch. Once you weather it, it will be the Death Watch colors, because we have the helmet sitting over here almost done. I have a outer cheek to do, and then the helmet will be done except for the back of it. So that is it for right now. Once I get everything prepped, we'll go into gluing it together, which will take a little while because there's a lot here. But once I get everything prepped, we'll glue it together, sand it down one more time to make sure all the little print lines and stuff are out of it, which you can see the print lines if I can angle it to where the light will catch it. These print lines right here, you want to smooth out. You want to smooth all of those out of it. And then on the face, sometimes it'll have these little bitty waves, and those will show up in the paint, so you want to smooth all those out. And I do the wet sanding. I don't really do too much dry sanding whenever I'm taking the print lines out. But that should be it. And then we are printing out or designing the lock pieces so you can attach it to your back armor with the strapping. And on the back of these, if you can see it, is this little piece right here. That will be a bolt. There should be a 10mm bolt stuck in here, and then there will be a little bracket on the back of your back piece that you attach this little 10mm bolt to with a nut, and that will keep it from falling off of you. Okay, we're gonna stick these final parts on. Since we've already attached everything else, this is what it'll look like when it's done. This side that I'm doing right now, along with the top rocket and the thruster. You want to sand inside of these holes right here. And then you want to make sure that your other piece is sanded too, and I already pre-sanded these. And then up on top you want to do this same exact thing. Just, it doesn't have to be fully sanded out. You just want to sand enough to where your side will stick. And the glue we're going to use is 2P10. It's locally sourced. Black River Tools, right here in Pensacola. Bob Smith Industries is the accelerant, which if anybody's used accelerant, it works great. It speeds up the process instead of holding it and sitting there for a while with it. So just put a bead around your bottom piece. You don't have to worry about too much, because most of this part is covered. And I don't have a rag. You want to keep a rag handy, so whenever you spray your accelerant, you can wipe it up, because it will leave a film, and it's kind of a dull film that it leaves. and you just want to spray the edges. Okay, next part, thruster. I have already glued the outer ring on. You don't have to glue your outer ring, which is the ball bearing ring. I just glued it on so I could just set them permanent in one spot. Same thing with the top, just put a bead around. Doesn't matter on your amount. As long as it's not real messy, you're good. If I can get in there. This one I want to make sure is seated good because I don't want it to fall off. Because the super glue will let go. Even though it's super glue. What we're doing can make it do it. Make it let go.
Here's to the main.
And that's the jetpack almost fully done. I have some other touch-up things that I have to do to it, and then we can share a picture of it whenever it's completed. The greeble goes right there. It has 2 pins. Both of them are, it's self-explanatory with the greeble part. Because it has a big pin and a little pin, and then you just set it on there, and that's it. You super glue it down. This is what your complete jetpack will look like. Painted. Alright, weathering is the next thing, but we do different, there's different types of weathering. Ours is an acrylic base, and they have black oil. But the main parts that you want to weather is the body, the whole body right here. Leave this shiny and this part shiny. But the rest of that body, you're going to weather as much as you want, just to make it look used, is basically all you want to do with it. And make sure you sand everything. Sand, sand, sand.